Hi, let's talk about how you can buy real estate in Germany as an asylum seeker. I'm using the case of an asylum seeker because it's one of the lowest level you can be in Germany or even in Europe or even in any developed country. Being an asylum seeker is the basic you can be. Do you know what I mean? So if anyone, an asylum seeker, can follow this process and is able to buy real estate in Germany or in Europe or in any developed world, for anyone else that's entered that country as a student or that's established private life in that country already, meaning they've lived in that country for a long period of time, or for anyone that have established family life in that country, you've been working for some time, you have family, basically you have your papers and all of that, you should have no problem buying real estate. If an asylum seeker is able to buy real estate, for someone that's established residency in that country, should have no problem buying real estate. And when we talk about real estate, I always tell people, anyone that I can tell, anyone that I can find, I always tell them to invest in Germany or to invest in the European country where they live, or if they live in any developed country, they should invest there. Because I see some people, they would rather go invest their money back in their home country. If you're investing back in your home country, is also a good thing. I think investing in real estate anywhere on this planet is a good thing. But if you live in a developed country whereby you spend dollars or you spend euros or pounds, I think it's important to invest in the country where you live. Do you know what I mean? If you, rather than investing back home, say for example you're Nigerian, you're investing in back home in naira. As we all know, you see what the exchange rate is, what the naira is going through for a long period of time. You see, it's not a safe or a smart idea to invest your money in naira. And that's why I encourage people to invest their money in euro or in pounds or in dollars, whatever the case might be. Do you know what I mean? So as an asylum seeker, you want to buy real estate in Germany. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to paint a scenario whereby an asylum seeker, you just arrived Germany. Now you're planning to go to the reception center where you have to go to apply for asylum. So right now you have nothing. You have no right to work. You have no right to be in the country. You have literally nothing. Now you go apply for your asylum. First thing first, before you go for your asylum interview, it's important for you to sort out your story, to get your stories right. I'm not saying your story is legitimate or it's not legitimate, whatever the case is. We all know if you're going to claim asylum in a first world country, they all believe, especially when you don't have evidence, they all believe you're lying. So whatever stories you're going to tell them, please get your stories right. Get the timeline of your stories right. You have to, after your interview, you have to put yourself in a situation whereby you don't have to be crying to Jesus to come and help you all the time. Do you know what I mean? That's why you need to frame your story. You need to plan your story, get your story sorted, well sorted, and the guidelines you can follow to get your stories right before you go for your interview. I've done videos about that in the past. You can go back to my video thread and you should be able to find it there. It's there. You find out how to frame your story. Asylum is a system. It's not, you should not go there, give your story, and then be going to church and be screaming in God's eardrum to help you. It's better for you to put yourself in an advantageous situation, meaning you need to understand the word, the system asylum, what it means. If you're going to claim asylum, what guidelines your story must meet. You must show evidence of threat to life. You must show evidence that they cannot send you back to, say for example, you're from Lagos City. You must show evidence. Your story must be structured in a way that they cannot tell you, yes, we believe your life would be at risk if we send you back to Lagos. But we also believe your life will not be at risk if we send you to Abuja or Port Harcourt. So you need to frame your stories right, so that it's not possible for them to return you back to your home country, to a different city in your home country. Do you know what I mean? So you need to first make research of how asylum story should be structured before you go there. I don't want you to be in a situation whereby you will be, screaming to God, God help me, God help me, or you thinking God has abandoned you. It's better for you, to be informed, so that before you go for your asylum interview, you're going there as a person that's informed. When you answer questions, you know how to answer questions, in order not to put yourself in a situation whereby it looks like you're saying two different things for one question they're asking you. Do you know what I mean? Because they can ask you one question in different ways, and you can contradict yourself, and that can spell trouble for you in the future, because they will refuse your asylum claim. But I always encourage people, get your stories right before you go there. Then after you finish your asylum interview, it will be impossible for them to refuse your asylum claim. Even if they refuse your asylum claim, when you go to court of appeal, you are going to win your asylum claim. Or even if you don't even, you go to court of appeal and you lose your first appeal, they have to take into consideration how well you've integrated into the country. Do you know what I mean? They will take into consideration how well you have integrated into the system. So on the one hand, you have a well-structured story you've given them that's giving them headache to refuse it under the law. Whoever the agent or the guy that will be interviewing you, even if they think you are lying, if they believe your story, you're lying about your story, that your life is at risk, they can believe you're lying. That is their personal opinion. But according to the law, they have to decide your asylum claim according to the law. And that's why your asylum claim must fall within the guidelines of the law when it comes to asylum claim. Do you know what I mean? So you have to give them a story that falls within the guideline. Even if any asylum officer decide to refuse your case, they will when they take it up, when you take it to judicial review or you take it to appeal court, you will still win the case. But even if you don't win the case, on the other hand, you have history of integration. You've integrated into the system, and you combine these two forces together, you will have no problem having your papers in the country. Now, you've arrived Germany or wherever country where you are. You're thinking to go apply for asylum. Obviously, at this point, I believe you're not allowed to work. Now, after you go for your asylum interview, you've done your asylum interview, and then after a few weeks or after a few months, you're given the right to work, and now you're working as an asylum seeker. You don't have papers yet. Now, when you start working in Germany, the basics, the bare minimum you can earn in Germany as an asylum seeker, or you're doing factory work, or you're doing cleaning job. These are the basic jobs you can get in Germany or in any developed country. Now you're getting 1,700 euro as an asylum seeker. From these 1,700 euro, you have a place where you live that's been provided by the system. And when you're working, they usually tell you to pay 300 euro or 400 euro, depending on what the case may be. Do you know what I mean? And then you're paying rent 300 euro or 400 euro. And your feeding cost is costing you about 200 euro. If you have any family back home that you need to support financially, you should not be sending family back home money randomly. You will lose it at the end of the day. It's better for you to sit down with your pay slip or your pay stub. You sit down with your pay slip, you see how much you earn every month. After tax, you see how much you earn. Say, for example, you earn 1,700 euro every month. Now you know that your rent is costing you 400 euro. You know your feeding is costing you 200 euro. That's 600 euro. You have to put your family on a monthly income basis, meaning you have to look at your family circumstances back home, and you can call them and say, look, every month I will be giving you people 100,000 naira. Now, this 100,000 naira can come up to be, say, 100 euro. This €100, they are not working for it. It's free money. They are not transporting to go to any work with it. There are people in Nigeria that earn 50,000 naira every month. And out of this 50,000 naira, they will transport to work. They will feed themselves. They will feed their wife. They will feed their children. If anyone in this family falls sick, they will treat themselves. They pay school fees from this 50,000. But in this case, you're giving them 100,000 naira every month. They don't need to work for it. They don't need to get up to go out to work for this money. So they need to plan themselves based on this 100,000 naira you're giving them every month. Meaning, if they want to travel to some other city, to their village, they have to plan themselves from that money. If they want to buy clothes, they have to plan themselves from that 100,000 naira. If they need to buy food, they plan themselves from that 100,000 naira. You can give them 200,000 naira, whatever you can afford. But I'm saying, whatever you're spending to support your families back home should be capped. They should not call you randomly. Something has happened, send 500,000. Something has happened, send 1 million. No. You put them on a monthly salary basis. If it's 200,000 naira you can afford, €200, you leave it at that and you let them know this is all you get every month. If you have any emergency problem, you should plan yourself from that money every month. Now, as I said, you're paying rent €400. Your feeding is €200. What it costs you to support your family every month, let's say €100. That's how much now? €700. Now you buy a monthly travel ticket to go to work. It's costing €50 in Germany. €50. That's €750. And now we have you keep €100 aside for miscellaneous. You want to buy yourself new shoe or new clothes. €100 on the side. That's €850. And you have €100 on the side for your €100 for the things you need, for the money you need to buy your personal care products like toothpaste, toothbrush, your cream, your soap, your towel, everything you need for your personal care, basically. €100 every month. That's €850. Now you still have 700. You still have about €900 as disposable income. Now, as an asylum seeker, you're saving €900. You have €900 disposable income every month. You can even cut costs and you can have up to €1,000 every month. Say you're having €900 every month. Now, you don't have papers yet. You're probably waiting for your asylum decision, or you're waiting for to get your papers, basically, but you're allowed to work. And you're saving €900 every month. And it's even possible, it's easy to save €1,000 every month. I've heard cases where people are living on €600 a month, €700 a month in Germany. It's easy. If you discipline yourself, it's easy. Now, say to get a easier number to work with, we work with €1,000. You're able to save €1,000 every month. Say it takes you like 2 years or 3 years to get your paper in Germany. But in these 2 years, you've been saving €1,000 every month. In these 2 years, it takes you 2 years to get your papers in Germany. You don't know when you will get your paper, basically. But let's assume it takes you 2 years. You know what I mean? Some people get it less than 2 years. Some people get it longer than 2 years. But say you get your paper, it takes you 2 years to get your paper. But in these 2 years, you've been saving €1,000. Yeah? Or let's say it takes you 4 years to get your paper. Okay. It takes you 4 years to get your paper. In these 4 years, you've been saving €1,000 every month. Imagine these 4 years, you should have nothing less than €45,000. In these 4 years, you have €45,000 and you've just been given your resident permit in Germany. With resident permit, it might be difficult for you to buy real estate, yes. But what you are going to do is, with this €45,000, you should continue working and continue saving. Now, let's say it takes you, from the time you get your resident permit, you have to live in a country. You should have worked for 5 years, or you should have lived in a country for 5 years before you can apply for permanent residency. It's easy when you're buying real estate. It's easier when you have permanent residency. Now, you have after 3 years or 5 years you've worked more after you've gotten your resident permit, and you work for another 4 years or 5 years, plus the 40,000 euro you've saved, plus another 40,000 euro you saved before you get your permanent residency, that's 80,000 euro. With 80,000 euro, that's 10% deposit for 800,000 euro real estate in Germany. 800,000 euro property in Germany. It's not easy, but if you apply discipline, and you apply commitment, it's very possible. Do you know what I mean? Let's even say you're not able to raise 80,000 euro in these 8 years, but you're able to get, but in these 8 years, you're able to save 70,000 euro or even 50,000 euro. With 50,000 euro, you have permanent residency. You have an income of 2,000 euro every month. Say you're earning 1,700 as a basic worker, and you take up a part-time job that pays you 520 euro. Let's say combine 2,000 euro, and now you earn 2,000 euro net income every month. You have 50,000 euro savings, and you have permanent residency. Your SHUFA, your credit score is good. You're ready to buy a real estate. Now, with 50,000 euro savings, you have 2,000 euro income. You can afford to buy a real estate of 200,000 euro. And it's even easier if the bank says that you have 50,000 euro savings. It's way easier. Oh, wow. I was hoping to keep this video under 10 minutes, but obviously it's way beyond that now. I guess we'll have to record a part 2 on this topic. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Please, if you have any suggestion as well, I will greatly appreciate it as well. Please do not hesitate to message me, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice one, mate. Bye.